Hello. Hey.
Hey, there he is.
Hey,
What's
there
up,
you
Arjun?
are.
How are you,
Sorry,
man?
sorry, I'm a little late. My last interview ran a little bit long, but I'm ready for you.
It happens, man. I appreciate you taking a few minutes before the tour kicks off, and I know we'll talk tour and we'll talk albums and all that stuff. But I want to
No,
start
thank
by
you.
talk. Say it again.
I said thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Of course. I want to start though by talking about Doctor Magnificent
Ah, yes.
because I need a little help in my scent game. I was on Instagram and on Twitter, and I see that you have a YouTube channel, and it's not a big channel by any means, but you have
It's
created this
growing.
alter ego, Dr. Magnificent, and
Yeah.
Dr. Magnificent's knows, so to speak.
The Nashville knows.
It's the Nashville knows.
Yeah.
Uh, what exactly, where did this all come from? It says on your Twitter bio that you're a fragrance aficionado. And now you have Dr. Magnificent, who is obviously a fragrance aficionado. How does this all get started? Why do you decide to go down this path?
It's a weird journey that I ended up getting to this point. I think it's a combination of me always kind of being a fragrance lover, just as a crazy, weird, artsy fartsy kind of person. I've always been into music. Obviously, like music and songwriting has always been my therapy. To help me. I was long story short, I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and I wear them on my sleeve and I wear them as a badge of honor. But I not to the point that I need to be medicated. But if you are at that point, I definitely encourage it. I think that it's great for people to seek that out if they need it. But for me, my levels are just at the point where I needed to make lifestyle changes, where like I have to eat right, exercise regularly, and songwriting has always kind of been my mental therapy of like kind of turning the world off, escaping. And but now that songwriting has become my career, now I need an escape from that sometimes. Just to keep it from feeling like a job. So now my escape from my musical creative outlet is my olfactory creative outlet, and I don't create scents. I haven't gotten into that yet, although I'd love to collaborate with a perfumer someday. For me, it was just like I started kind of like looking at all my old fragrances that after I moved, like they were packed up in boxes, and I opened them up, and I was like, I had some classics like La Male by Jean Paul Gaultier, some Versace's, various like kind of designer fragrances, and then COVID happened, and we had the lockdown, and it was the first time I was off the road for that long and in the same place, and I started kind of like kind of like getting back into it, and it kind of snowballed from there. I started just I learned about discounter sites where you can get them really cheap. So I started like researching other ones. I started ordering samples, and I started testing them out, and it kind of like was this really awesome escape from reality. Again, I kind of got the same tingly feeling that you do when you're in that creative headspace when you're songwriting. So it was like another like, oh, this is like kind of another little like kind of mental escape for me, and it's like it kind of just for some reason, like fragrance just puts me in a really good mood. So I started sampling them, and I started like researching. So I started collecting bottles. I was like, well, this might be kind of a fun hobby to get into collecting hobbies. But one of the other things that I was hired for when I wasn't touring was I was hired to do comedy writing and co-host for this podcast and this web series called Stop, Drop, and Talk, which is still going, but it's slowing down, obviously, because we have a lot of things going on. But after applying the skills that I learned about content creating, comedy writing, and video editing, I started getting into making fragrance content. I was like, I have a pretty sizable collection. I'd love to talk about this to try to find an audience online who might want to nerd out with me about fragrance. And it's kind of snowballed into this really cool community where people that are following me, like, I'll put fragrance content out. They'll leave comments about like, oh, I love this one. I love that one. Check out this one. Check out that one. And we just kind of nerd out about fragrance. And it's all almost also kind of turned into a little bit of a of like a mental health discussion where we're like, okay, like here's another thing that you can get into to distract yourself from normal life. And when you smell these fragrances, they just put you, they lift your mood. They can, it does wonders. It does great things for your brain and for your neurons and all that. It's like music. It's like olfactory music for me. It soothes the savage beast. So my love for fragrance and my love for content creation kind of came together, and I started a channel. So like, why not? At least it'll give me something fun to do when I'm on the road. I can edit videos. I can, put lists together. I can research notes and kind of get into that stuff. So that's kind of how it started.
I don't want to put you on the spot by any means, but I'm a dude that knows nothing about, colognes or any sort of fragrances. I use what my girlfriend will purchase for me. Then she'll buy it and I don't use it anyway. As someone who has no idea what he's doing, what would you recommend? If I'm a bod man or a Drakkar Noir man, do I stick with that or do I need to go? I mean, there's probably a different direction I should go, correct?
Well, it depends on like what price range you want to go to. I find that like some of the best fragrances for the best price are like from Versace. Like you could try Versace Dylan Blue. You could try Versace Pour Homme. You could try a Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Those are always great go-tos. You could also try the Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male line. Like I love Le Male, love Ultra Male. I just got this discontinued. It's called Fleur de Mal in the white bottle. But there's all kinds of good stuff out. Like those are like the really easy kind of cheaper ones. You could also try Azzaro Chrome Extreme if you like a beachy thing. Also, if you like Acqua di Gio, which is a really popular one, you could try Acqua di Gio Profumo, which is they add elements to make it a little bit more dark, a little more mysterious, a little more interesting. If you like Dior Sauvage, but you don't want to smell like everybody else, but you like that scent DNA, and you want to kind of get something that's a little bit more off the beaten path and a little more experimental and a little more of a niche quality version, try Dior Sauvage Elixir. Is a really cool release. I really got into this one because it's nice and easy, but it's also like different. It kind of sets you apart. So if you like the kind of easy designers, go with stuff like that. But if you want to spend a little bit more, you could check out a brand like Parfums de Marly. You could check out some stuff from Tom Ford. Tom Ford, I really got into as a designer house that kind of bridges the gap between designer and niche. Oh, here it is. Acqua di Gio Profumo. I really dig this one because it has that familiarity of Acqua di Gio, but it kind of makes it a little bit more niche quality. Or our photographer's favorite fragrance, which is a very generic one, but he loves it, is Bleu de Chanel. I'm sure you've heard of Bleu de Chanel. And this is the Parfum. This is the Bleu de Chanel Parfum with the gold label. So these are all great options if you want to smell different, if you want to set yourself apart, but you want to kind of stay in the easy to wear lane. You just want to smell nice. I think those would be really good things for you to check out. So I know you're recording this, so you can look back and see what I just rattled off in like 10 seconds there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take notes and we'll be good to go.
Hell, let's bring you on the Nashville Knows. You can be a guest on the Dr. Magnificent channel.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
We'll find your perfect set.
I know we don't have a ton of time, and we've spent a lot of time talking about fragrances, which I think is great. But
we can go late. It's all I got nothing going on if you don't today.
Perfect. Oh, good. Okay, I didn't.
But I do bring my bottles with me on the road. So what I really want to start doing is like people that I hang out with on the road as soon as it's safe to do so. I want to like try to have them find their perfect scent. I've been trying to help people find their perfect scent and the thing that really speaks to them, because when you splash this on before you leave, like just a little thing like putting fragrance on before you leave the house, just boosts your confidence a little bit. You just carry yourself a little bit different. It's really like another form of self-love. And for me, I like to smell nice when I meet people on the road because you know how it is, like, rock and roll musicians on the road. And this also ties into how I got started getting into fragrance, was purely because it was so hard to get a shower every day. So, just get something nice and light and easy. And although fragrance should not replace a good old fashioned shower, at least it's better than how you would smell without it. So I think that's kind of the origin of how I got into it. So,
I've got a good idea. We talk about in radio, trying to find different things that we can do with the bands when we do meet and greets and stuff. I think you might have an opportunity here where, we could send some listeners to the show. You've got a show next week in Sterling Heights at the Michigan Lottery Amphitheater.
Let me at them.
Yeah. We can send listeners down there and they could get, you could help them find their fragrance. You could help them. Once we're able to do stuff, this could be an experiential. This could be an opportunity for you to combine the things you love with your fans.
That would be so. I would love to do that someday. You keep that idea because I travel with like minimum 40 bottles with me because I'm insane. But I would love to start doing that. Have like something where the fans, where we can do like a meet and smell. You know,
I like that.
We can test because you have to test it out on your skin. Like you can read the notes, you can read reviews, you can test it on the like. I say to everybody, like when you go to the mall and the little salesperson comes up with a paper test strip, they're like, "What do you think of this?" Like, "Ooh, I like that. I'll buy that." Don't do that. You have to test it on your skin and wait at least like a couple hours to see how it performs, how long it lasts. Because those are all factors for me that are selling points for me. It's like I want it to smell good with my skin chemistry and I want it to last a good long time. So I would love to be able to experiment and just kind of do more like a consultant kind of deal where I'm not selling fragrances. I'm not involved with that. But I can at least test it on the skin, like let them cook with it, write down what it is, see how long it lasts, and maybe even send them home with like a little decant would be kind of cool, you know? So I think that would be a really fun thing to do someday. I like that idea.
I wish I loved anything as much as you love fragrances because you could go on. It seems like you could go on and on and on about this stuff.
It's the mental illness for me. You know, it's like literally like I know that I'm insane. I know that I'm a clinically insane person. So, but you know, it's much less destructive than channeling it into something that is destructive. So I'd rather channel my my own craziness into something that's constructive and something. Like music or fragrance, something beautiful like that.
Well, I know we just talked briefly about the.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Let's get back to music. Go for it.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. I just want to make sure we are cool to go past the 12:30, right? You're good.
Yes, because I totally just wasted a ton of your time.
Oh, you're not wasting my time. No, this is great. I just know
I could go for hours. So let's get back to my other passion, music. Let's go.
No, you're good. I just don't. What I don't want is to get the email from Lou Rizzo in a couple of seconds saying, "What are you doing? He's got another one."
No. Actually, you're my last of the day. So let's keep going.
Yeah, let's go. Awesome. Well, I know the tour kicks off next week. It kicks off in our home state of Michigan. And I know that you've been home for a little bit here. And I'm sure it's exciting to be able to stay home for a little bit for you guys. But I mean, I remember having Halestorm in studio here in Saginaw back. You were playing a show at the Machine Shop in like the mid 2000s. And since that day that I met you guys for the first time, you have not stopped. So it's got to be exciting to get back out on the road here next week, even though you were only been home for a month or so.
I'm excited. I mean, I love Michigan in the summertime, so I'm really excited that we're doing a show up there in the summer. Is it really hot and humid up there?
It can be. I mean, we're looking at temperatures this week. I think 91 on Thursday. We've had a couple of hot days. Yesterday it was like 65, so it was great.
Well, if it's really hot up there, you would love Alexandria, Hawaii volcano. That's a great. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Oh, keep going. This is great.
Wait, what were we talking about? I'm fucking with you. No, I'm really excited to get up there because Michigan has just been a great market for us. Like we've when we were kind of just starting to do headline shows, that was like some of the first headline shows we did was up where you're at, you know, like really close there. And that's thanks to you guys for all your support that we even have an audience there. So, you know, it's cool to see that you and us have grown together and we're still here. And it's great to see that.
And it's awesome to see the progression of playing a show at like a Machine Shop, a smaller club, and now moving up to a theater like the State Theater, the Fillmore in Detroit, or playing the Dow Event Center Theater here in Saginaw. And now you guys are going to be headlining the Michigan Lottery Amphitheater with the Pretty Reckless. And I just mentioned Lou Rizzo and him banging on an email to me, yelling at me for taking too long. But
I love Lou.
He's great. He's great. I just took him. He came up last week or 2 weeks ago. We went to a baseball game because he loves baseball. We have a minor league team here. And he got a tour from like the president of the team of the stadium. Like he just ended up getting, it was amazing.
What was my invite?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no doubt. But he talked about you guys, and he talked about how, you know, your core group of people that go out, not just the band, but your crew, everybody that's, you know, in the Halestorm camp, you guys are like a family, that you guys have all been together since the start. What is it like having a tight-knit support system like that as you guys get ready to go out on the tour again?
You know, I think that's the single number one thing besides playing shows and hanging out with the fans and getting that incredible energy and response, that rush that you feel on stage. The only thing that, but that's like, they say that when you're a touring musician, it's 23 hours of work and 1 hour of bliss, basically. Like that's kind of describes it. So that 1 hour or hour and a half that you're on stage, like you're in heaven. Like that's where that's your happy place. That's where you want to be. And then once you leave that, then touring can be quite grueling. It's a lot of work. It's, you're not eating the best. It's hard to get workouts in. It's a busy, long day. You're in a different zip code. It's hard to sleep. You're crammed on a bus. So it's, not complaining because, it's what we love to do. But I think that and this is why we started hashtag Roadie Strong, is because I think a lot of people overlook the importance of the crew. And luckily, I think the only thing that has kept us from even needing to take a break from the road is because of our relationship that we have with our touring personnel, with our crew members. And it's grown a lot. Like, I mean, for years, we only had like 4 crew people. We had like drums, monitors, guitar tech, front house TM, merch, assistant TM. And it was just like the 8 of us against the world for so long. And now we have a crew of like 15, 16 people, but that core feeling has never left. And I think that's why they love being a part of this camp too, is because it doesn't feel like a job to them. Because we try to make it feel like a very family dynamic, and that has to start. It starts from the top and trickles down. My sister and I have been doing this since I was 10 years old, and we've been doing this band since the beginning. And our parents toured with us. Our dad was our first bass player. So if you look at the history of the band, it's always been very family oriented, and that type of feeling just never leaves. Like that's just how we've always approached it. Like we never want our crew to feel like we're their employers and they work for us. Like no. That's not the way that we want it, and that's not the way I think it should be. I think you need to have a team mentality, and that just helps everything all around because it makes your crew more dedicated. They put just that little extra bit of effort to make sure that the show is as great as it can be. Our lighting tech, our lighting director, everything, our sound monitor, everybody is just so passionate about doing the best job that they can for us and for the entire team. Everybody wants to be a team player, and I'm so grateful to have that mentality in our camp.
It's interesting that, I have local bands that will ask me, what sort of advice have I heard from other bands that have made it big? And I don't know that I've ever heard. I mean, you hear about going out and playing shows, play whatever show you can get and things like that. I don't know that anyone's ever talked about just how important that family aspect is and having everybody on the same team, because having one person in your crew that is not all in, is not on board, is not willing to go out there and put out the best foot forward, that can ruin everything.
Yeah, it's like 1 weak link can snap the whole thing. So yeah, like our crew is just so passionate about doing the best job they can. And you have to take care of your crew. You need to make sure everything that we make, like we want to invest into our crew. Like we want to make sure that they're well paid, well taken care of. Like we were, as soon as we got to the point that the bus was getting too crammed, it's like, no, like we got to invest in another bus. Like we got to make sure that they have space, they have a place that they can enjoy being on the road, because that's 9-10 months out of the year we're on the road. So I find it more important to invest in your crew, because that's the lifeblood of the show. Like without them, the show doesn't happen. And I think every band should remember that. I don't think that's something you should take for granted.
You mentioned going on the road. The tour kicks off next week. Back from the Dead has been out now for a couple of months, and you guys have been able to play some of those new songs. Are you guys happy? I imagine you're happy with the response from the fans for Back from the Dead.
So far, so good. Yeah. And I'm really excited that Wicked Ways is our next single, because that was one of the first ones in the studio that I started implementing double bass. I had been a single bass player for many years. I started out playing double bass when I was a kid because I was like, I want more drums, the more the better, just like make a monster kit. And then I started stripping it down a little bit later when I started getting more serious about technique. I was like really studying at the school of John Bonham and Dave Grohl and Travis Barker. And so I was like single bass player all the way, just like get my right foot really fast. But then our co-producer and writing partner, Scott Stevens, started throwing me all these curveballs. And Wicked Ways was one of the first ones where like there was this like double bass in the bridge. I was like, uh-oh, like, here we go. It's like riding a bike. Here we go again, So I had to like dust off my double bass pedal and brought it to the studio, and I was like, here we go. And so that one is a really fun song to play live because it's like the first one where I started bringing double bass back, and it's kind of fun to do that. It's kind of fun to bring that extra dimension to my playing,
When you walk into the studio with the double bass pedal, does the rest of the band look at you like, what the hell are you doing? What are we doing?
No, because like had I done that by myself, like, hey guys, I want to do double bass on this song, they would have been like, I don't know. But the fact that it came from, higher up, our producer, they're like, okay, I guess I guess it's meant to be. So thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.
Now, since you were able to do the double bass on Wicked Ways, how hard have you been pushing for that song to be a single? Have you been, hey, you guys, we should really look at Wicked Ways. We should really
No. I haven't been pushing. Like for me, like I want the best song to be the next single, and we rely heavily on our team, our crew. We love getting our crew's input. We love getting our fans' input. We love getting our team, our management, record label, booking agent, like everybody. We want them to all like kind of, put their 2 cents in. But our manager has been pushing for Wicked Ways because and I was like kind of just like, oh, that would be fun. Not just because of double bass, but because it like that song takes me back to my punk rock roots. Like I feel like a punk drummer when I'm up there playing it. So that one's just a really it's exhausting. Like at the end of it, and then of course I've got singing in it. So like by the end of the song, I'm like, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I'm working on it. But it's really fun.
It's interesting you bring up other drummers, and I wrote this down specifically because I knew I was going to be talking to you. There's been a lot made recently about Tommy Lee going out on the stadium tour with the broken ribs and only playing like 4 songs and then leaving. For somebody who plays the drums, and for somebody who is now talking about just how much effort you put into playing Wicked Ways live, how much of a pain in the ass, how much pain would you be in if you were playing drums night in and night out with 4 broken ribs? Is it possible? Would it be miserable?
I think that'd be impossible for me, but since Tommy Lee and I are the same age, I can definitely relate. No, I mean, Tommy Lee is one of those freaks of nature where I remember I saw them on the farewell tour, which, by the way, really,
yeah.
Like, well,
they signed a contract.
We'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money. Whatever. I was like, of course they would do that. Of course they're gonna pull a Kiss or right. How many farewell tours have all these bands done? Like, I don't believe them anymore. But of course the inner fan of me was like really excited that they were coming back. It's like, okay, I'm not mad at it because I love Motley Crue. I'll always have a soft spot for it. But yeah, I was really sad to hear that as a drummer to drummer. I'm like, ooh, like I hope he recovers soon, and I know he's getting up there in age, so I hope he does okay, because I mean, he's like one of the best of all time. So he
is certainly a legend, and got to be a bummer for those fans that went to go see them. I actually, when they played Crew Fest in Detroit years ago, he had the night before or whatever, he blew his hand up with a firework.
I know.
Ended up, he didn't play that show. You guys may have been on that tour.
No, we weren't on that tour, but I remember, Motley Crue's had a lot of incredible subs. Morgan, my boy Morgan Rose from Seven Dust played for him. Will Hunt played for him one time. I think the drummer from Peaches, Stephanie, I think her name is. She was like, and now, I mean, it's a shame that the fans don't get to see Tommy, but the other Tommy Clufetos, is who I've known for many years, is an absolute monster. So I think they're going to sound incredible with him playing. It's funny, like they're just going down the list, and I'm like, how come I haven't gotten my phone call yet? When do I get to sub in for Tommy Lee?
Where do you think you land? Who are you behind on the list? Who do they have to get to before you go, oh, it's my turn next?
My name starts with the letter A, so if they're looking through the yellow pages, you'd think I would be no. Those are huge shoes to fill. And if Morgan and Will Hunt and Tommy Clufetos are like their top picks, I'm way down on the list. I would be like, I'm not worthy. But yeah, that's crazy. I just found out about that.
Yeah, it's nuts. And you've got, I mean, you couldn't take time off from your tour that you're doing anyway, because that starts next week with the Pretty Reckless and with The Warning and with Lil Azar. And you have toured with, I mean, you've played shows with the Pretty Reckless over the years. Why is it important to keep aligning yourselves? Halestorm, female-fronted band. Pretty Reckless, female-fronted. The Warning, all-female band. Lil Azar, female-fronted too. Why do you think it's important to kind of keep you guys aligned? And I don't know if it's together because you'll play shows with Blackstone Cherry, you'll play shows with STP or whatever. But why do you think this sort of tour works?
It's not something we do all the time. It's something we do just every once in a while. But yeah, we have done these type of package tours where it's like us and Evanescence, us and New Year's Day, and a lot of other female fronted bands. And I think that the thing that I like seeing about like just in general, like at rock festivals, rock shows, in the heavier music genre, is that like for our entire career kind of building up, it was like 80-20 guys. And now it's gotten to the point where it's more split down the middle. I like seeing more women at the shows, more girls wanting to headbang and mosh pit and crowd surf. And I'm seeing a lot more of that inclusion and that more diversity. And I feel like doing these types of package tours are important until we have true equality all around. Like, I think it's important that these tours happen just to send that message. And as a guy, I'm proud to just be involved somehow, and I'm really proud to be an ally in every way that I can. And so I'd love to see more diversity in see more women involved in rock music, and I'd love to see our genre expand even more to different gender identities, different sexual orientations, different race and things like that. And I'm seeing more diversity all around. It's a slow process, but I'm really happy to see that we're kind of moving in that direction. Bands like Fire from the Gods, bands like Fever 333, bands God, there's a lot of them out there. And of course, all the bands that we're on tour with. We know Lil Azar. I'm really stoked about The Warning. I'm really glad to just see new up and coming bands wanting to do that, because I feel like when you're young and impressionable and you see somebody at that level up on stage doing that, and you become a fan of that, you see kind of them in yourself, and that can be inspiring to you to want to pick up a guitar, pick up a pair of drumsticks, and actually do it for real. So we need more representation in rock music all around. When it comes to gender, LGBTQ, race, things like that, we need to see more representation of especially of what this country looks like. So I encourage it. I think that I would love to see more diversity in the touring lineups, and I'd love to see but at the same time, until we get to the point that we're at true equality, I think that these types of package tours where you're making a statement, you're actually getting together and saying, like, with the power of all of us, we can actually get the word out that, like, we need more of this. And so I'm really happy. I feel optimistic, and I feel really happy to see more of that and see it moving in that direction, especially in our genre.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the inclusiveness, to see more females at the shows, to see more of that representation that you talked about. And I'm sure that the crowd will be pretty diverse when you guys come to the Michigan Lottery Amphitheater next week, Sterling Heights. You can buy those tickets. They're still on sale, livenation.com and ticketmaster.com and all those spots. RJ, I know you just announced a couple more fall shows with, I think, New Year's Day on that bill. What else does 2022 hold for you guys? What about looking ahead to 2023?
Oh goodness. That's way too far ahead. No. 2023, we have a lot of international touring. I think we're doing New Zealand, Australia, Japan. We're doing Europe with Alter Bridge in November, which I'm really excited about. And we'll probably do the European festivals. We'll probably do Download, Rock am Ring, Rock am Park, all that over there. Like this year, we did a lot of U.S. festivals. Next year, I think we're going to do more international festivals. And hopefully more U.S. festivals too. I'd love to do like more of these Danny Wimmer festivals, which we're really good friends with those guys, and they're just killing it, just owning the game on the rock festivals and doing so extremely well, and kind of applying that efficiency that we see in the European festivals, which are massive, and bringing that over here. So more. It's just gonna be more touring all around until the album cycle starts to wane. So I feel like things are kind of starting. In the spirit of optimism, I feel optimistic about the future of live music and us getting together and kind of feeling safer for gatherings and things like that. So again, let's just hope it keeps moving in that direction because it's looking like we're getting busy and starting to feel more normal for us. So let's hope it keeps going in that direction too.
I hope it does. I want to bring this conversation full circle. We've been talking for about 30 minutes or so. How would you rate this interview on a cologne or perfume fragrance sort of scale? How would you say this went for me based on just the conversation we've had for the last 30 minutes?
I'd say I think that we started around Le Labo and Zerjoff status, but now I think we've skyrocketed up to Creed and By Killian level. I
like skyrocketing. I like that.
I would say this interview, honestly, I've done a lot of interviews, a lot of press for this album, but I really love anytime I go into an interview and they ask me questions that really make me think. Yeah. So I want to say that it's been refreshing, but it also kind of really makes me think. So I'm going to give this interview a very high rating.
Oh, here we go. I am excited to find out where this is going to go.
I would say because it's been very clean, very fresh, very it's summertime, so it feels very refreshing, but also when you smell this interview, it really gets your brain tingling and it really makes you think. So I am going to rate this interview from 1 out of 10. I'm going to say it's at Baccarat Rouge 540 status by Mason Francis Kirkjohn. And that is a high rating if you've ever smelled this one.
Awesome.
This is one of the best fragrances of all time. So everyone check this one out.
I'm going to have to try and get my hands on some of that just so I can smell how this interview felt.
Honestly, this is one of the best examples of a perfect androgynous fragrance. So you and your girl would probably really dig this one, together.
So I'll get her to buy it then.
Yeah. You should smell it on each other and see how you like it. I think it's an incredible fragrance for anyone. Very gender neutral.
Fantastic. I'll look for that, and we'll look for you at Michigan Lottery Amphitheater next week, man. I appreciate this. This has been a lot of fun, dude. This has been a blast. I expected 15 minutes, and we went way past that. And it was great.
Oh man, honestly, it's just don't give yourself too much credit. It's just great to see anybody. Yeah. I'm kidding. Yeah. No, this has been a lot of fun, man. I mean, this is what we would be doing if we weren't doing an interview. We'd just be FaceTiming and nerding out and being dorks. So everyone's getting an inside, very genuine view of what our lives are actually like.
Right. That's right. Well, I appreciate it, man. Looking forward to the show next week, and hopefully we'll see you back in Mid-Michigan soon, too.
Looking forward to playing it, man. Looking forward to seeing you.
Awesome. Thanks, RJ.
Hope we get to hang.
See you, dude.
See you, bud. Have a great rest of your day.